Hello, I'm Judy Mario, and this is the World of Book Reviews. And tonight we're talking about a book that most of us had read to us when we were little children, and it's still such a popular book today that it's come back in a new format, and it is entitled Hansel and Gretel. And I know you probably remember the story of Hansel and Gretel, where the two children lived with their father and their stepmother, and the stepmother said they were too poor, they couldn't keep the kids, and so she convinced the dad that they should take the kids into the woods and leave them there and run off and leave the kids, and the kids would get lost, and then they wouldn't come home, and then they wouldn't have to feed them anymore. And then the kids outsmarted them the first night. They left pebbles all along the way, and they were able to, in the moonlight, follow the pebbles back home. And so then the stepmother got very, very upset, and they took the children back again and dumped them in the woods. And as you know, they were lost in the woods for quite a long time when they came across the gingerbread house. And the gingerbread house had a little old woman that lived in it, and she seemed very nice. She gave the kids something to eat, and then she turned into this absolute witch. In fact, she was a real witch. And she put Hansel, the boy, she put him into a cage and was trying to fatten him up so that she could eat him for dinner one day. And she had Gretel out doing all the work, preparing things and getting things ready for this big feast she was going to have of this little boy. And the two kids were trying to figure out how they could get away. It's quite an intriguing story. It's fun. I worry about it a little bit because I wonder if it's going to make children feel like their parents might dump them in the woods, or that the witch is really bad. And, I think if you're very, very young, you probably shouldn't have this book read to you. In the end, it turns out all right, because along the way, the stepmother dies, and the children do eventually get back home. But it's quite a tale, and it's got quite a few negative experiences in it, as well as positive. And I wonder why it's been such a popular book for so many, many years. Now, this particular book is very well done, and it's beautifully illustrated. I have to show you some of this if I can make it where the camera can see it right. It's really interesting how it's got these pages that are like cutouts, and they're over the other pages, and it actually gives the book a beautiful slant. It's something different than I've ever seen before in a book, and it's something that makes the book very interesting and gives it almost like a 3D dimension to it. So it is a book that I find very intriguing. It's one that I know that most of us will read to our kids at one time or another in our lifetime, and it's one that most of us know the story of. And so this is a beautiful version. It's illustrated by Agnes Baruzzi, and it's beautifully, beautifully illustrated. I think this is a book that kids will want to keep, they'll want to take care of, they'll want to put it up and have it for a lifetime, because it is one of the Brothers Grimm stories, and they really are forever stories. They're stories that we heard from the time we were little kids, and I think they'll probably go on for years and years and years. And thank you for joining me tonight, and I hope you have enjoyed this book review of Hansel and Gretel.